Hey guys, it's Bailey. Welcome back to the channel and thanks so much for tuning in to what's going to be a video all about my favorite primers. And if you've been with the channel for a little bit, you might know, well, if not, first of all, welcome. But if you have been with the channel, you might know that I am not a primer person. A lot of you guys, like over the course of however long I've been on YouTube, I get a lot of questions about what my favorite primers are, and honestly, up until pretty recently, I haven't had much of a list to go off of because I am not a fan of these super slippery, silicone-y, silky feeling primers like the cult classic Smashbox, Hourglass's Mineral Veil, like any of those primers that tend to be super popular but have that notorious slip to them. Not for me. I get that they even out texture, and they certainly do that for my combination skin like drier patches, but I feel like they make my makeup slip off even faster than it already does on a day when I have like excessive shine, oily skin. It doesn't do much in the way of actually extending the lasting power of my foundation. So up until relatively recently, you'll see with a lot of these primers, I hadn't found any that I was just absolutely in love with. But I think brands are getting wise to this, and so they're coming out with some pretty awesome primers. So I've gathered 4 here today that I have been really loving lately to go through kind of the differences between them, why I like them, when I use them, so that if you, like me, aren't a fan of those super silky, slippery primers, you might want to check some of these out. As a little background, I have combo skin, so in the warmer months, I develop the excess shine down the center of my face, and in drier, cooler months, I get dry, patchy, like textured-ness around the perimeter of my face and cheeks. And so I had previously been looking to a foundation to kind of help correct all of that. One that would last, down the center of my face, perfectly intact as long as it could throughout a hot summer day. And likewise, one that was kind of thick enough and hydrating enough to even out that texture on the sides of my face. First up is the Smashbox Photo Finish Primerizer. It says it's a primer and moisturizer in one. I've gone through quite a bit of this. Maybe you'll be able to see in the up close. It's like almost gone. And I love this for the warmer months because it has a super, super thin texture. It does have a little bit of slip to it, but it sinks immediately into your skin. So it takes like dry, kind of uneven or tight feeling skin. It hydrates it and evens the texture out, but not so much that it feels like it creates a barrier or a layer over your skin that your makeup's just gonna slip right off of. It's like, this is as close, for me, I think this is as close to a normal or traditional sort of primer as I'm going to get. So to lightly hydrate and even out my skin texture during the warmer months, this is what I'll reach for. And then in addition to that, I'll reach for a mattifying primer to make sure I can keep the oil in my T-zone at bay. And for that, I use the Makeup Forever Step 1 Equalizer. This is the mattifying primer. They have like a whole line of primers, and this is the mattifying one. I did a video shortly after I got this. I think they sent this to me. And so at least a year and a half ago, I made a video about this. I love it so much because I not only use it under my makeup, like in my T-zone to prevent the excess oil, but in the event I see breakthrough shine throughout the day, it's so lightweight that I can dab it over the top of my makeup without disturbing any of it. So this is kind of like a multifunctional sort of primer that I can also use to touch up with during the day. And so these two are like my go-to for warm months, or just days where I feel like I'm gonna have some excess oil for whatever reason. I'm traveling, I'm stressed, whatever it is. These are my go-tos. The next two are super similar. They work almost exactly the same on me, but they have slightly different textures, and they're more of lotion type primers, which sounds very counterintuitive personally from a combination skin standpoint, that I would want a lotion to prime my skin, but it's the best way I know how to describe them. They are the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte Primer and the Huda Beauty Complexion Perfection Pre-Makeup Base. Like I said, both of these are super similar in texture. They are more like, visibly they're opaque. They look like a lotion. They feel a little bit thicker on the skin, which initially I was like, this is gonna like smother my skin. It's gonna make it greasy and oily, but they don't. They spread to this lightweight layer across the skin that sinks in. It does a good job at hydrating, but not over-hydrating, and I think that thicker texture does even out any unevenness in my skin texture without that slippery feel to it. The main difference I notice is that the Huda Beauty maintains a little bit of tackiness to it, which I think comes down to a personal preference. I don't notice it affecting the wear of the foundation that I put over top. It doesn't affect the lasting power of my makeup. I think it just comes down to a preference that you have. The Fenty Beauty dries to more of a smooth, silky, kind of undetectable finish, whereas the Huda Beauty is just that, has that slight tackiness to it before it totally dries down. Some days I feel like the tackiness really just sticks to that foundation and keeps it there in place longer, and then some days I feel like I don't need that, so it could be all in my mind. I'm just saying that the main difference I notice between these two is that difference in tackiness as they're drying down. So go in store, put some on the back of your hand, get a makeup artist to apply them on you so you can wear it and try it out to see which one you like best, but just know these perform and function very similar on me, especially in terms of light hydration and evening that skin texture out, but for the most part they're very, very similar and I love them both. And that's it for me. Those are really the four that I know and love. A couple of you guys have recommended the Too Faced Hangover Primer. I haven't tried that one yet, but knowing that the issues that I have with the slippery silicone primers, a lot of you guys have recommended that to me as well, so definitely comment down below if you try and love that one so that other people who might be in the same boat can go try that for themselves. And the other thing I want to mention is that I have, I've tried a cheaper dupe for the Makeup Forever Step 1 Mattifying Primer, and it's from Soap & Glory. I have it and I just can't find it in my mess of a makeup collection. So I don't have it here to show you, but I realize there aren't any drugstore alternatives in here, and despite having tried a lot, I just haven't found any that really, really work for my skin quite as well as any of these do. But the one that I have found is a super similar product from Soap & Glory that, and I think it's one heck of a blot primer. Super close to this Makeup Forever, so if you're looking for something a little bit more affordable, that's what I can give you. But that's it from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.